Hello and good day, my dear students. This discussion would focus now on reading the image. No? Previously, we had watched the elements of art. We had understood ano ba yung components ng isang art, ano ba yung components ng isang image, like the lines, the shapes, the color, lahat yun nakasama sa elements of art. Now, ngayon naman, tutungo tayo sa usapin ng reading the image. First thing that you would notice is how are you going to read an image, 'di ba? If an image is only it only consists of colors, shape, size, how can you, if there are no words, can you possibly read it, 'di ba? So, yun ang discussion natin ngayon. If we speak about reading the image, you don't understand it as literally na babasahin mo kung ano yung nakalagay, but you need to interpret it on how you perceive that image. So, as what we can see on the learning outcomes, okay, we would locate that in the world of multi and visual media, we must expand our notion of what a text is and how we must read it. This is so common kasi kapag halimbawa sa libro, maraming nakalagay na text, 'di ba? Kaya nga libro siya kasi binabasa. However, as more texts are used to convey information, print once did, we must bring to this visual text critical literacies that would help us construct meaning from their elements. That is why, no? That is why mas nagiging attractive ang isang image. It is because of the color. It is because kapag text lang yung nakikita mo, it is so boring. It is only plain black and white. Wala kang ibang nakikita na hindi mo ina-analyze. But the task of the image now, okay, of these visual texts na sinasabi, ay sa unang tingin mo pa lang, alam mo na yung pinapahiwatig. Mamaya makikita natin yan as we go on with this discussion. Okay? So we have three on these discussions. Number one is the semiotic. Second is the iconic. And the last one is contextual. So let's go to it one by one. Let's have semiotic plane. When we speak about semiotics, it's a theory and study of signs and symbols, especially as elements of language or other systems of communication. Common examples of semiotics include traffic signs, emojis, and emoticons, used in electronic communication, and logos and brands used by international corporations to sell us things, which they call as brand loyalty. Okay? Now, a person who studies semiotics is what we call as semiotician. Many terms and concepts used by contemporary semioticians were introduced by the Swiss linguist Ferdinand de la Saussure. Okay? Now, let's go to semiotic plane. Ang sinasabi dito is the study of signs and symbols. And one common example ay yung mga road signs natin. Bakit kaya common sa road signs, 'di ba? Hindi naman sinasabi na you turn left, you turn right, wala ka na nababasang ganun ngayon. But it's only the arrow that directs. It is only the arrow that dictates kung saan ka liliko, kung saan ka pupunta, 'di ba? O gaano ka nakalayo or gaano kalayo yung pupuntahan mo, 'di ba? Lahat 'yan makikita natin sa mga road signs, right? Alam mo kung do not enter, no entry, U-turn, 'di ba? These are examples of semiotic planes, just what it is defined up above, right? Next. Again, it is defined as the semiotics is or could include emojis or emoticons, di ba? Dati, ay kung maaalala ninyo, no, mga kapanahunan ng mga before 2010 and after 2010, yung mga generation na yan, dyan pala nag-give rise ang emojis or ang emoticons dahil kay Facebook. Dati wala naman yan eh. Halimbawa na lang, kapag yung cellphone mo dati, the keypad, you have a keypad phone, Dati, ang ginagawa ng iba ay maglalagay sila ng something like asterisk sad kasi ina-express nila kung ano yung nararamdaman nila. But now, sa panahon ngayon, hindi na. It is only through that emoticon, through that emoji, that it communicates the feeling and the emotion of the subject na nagsasabi noon to the other person. Okay? Kaya nga, it is used as a is it is used for communication. Kaya nga siya visual text, no? Visual text. It is a text, however, only in the form of an image. Kaya nga itong mga react natin na itong mga to, ito ay common because it communicates the feeling, the emotion of the subject na pinapakita, na pinaparamdam niya doon sa mga audience niya or sa magiging audience niya. Okay? So, the same as with brands and logos, di ba? Na unang tingin mo pa lang kapag nakita mo yung damit niya na may buhaya, automatic, ano ang tatakbo sa utak mo na brand nun, di ba? Like, it is the trademark na, di ba? It is the trademark. Now, this now gives way, no? Ito na yung nagpe-pave ng way sa understanding kung bakit ang daming gustong kopyahin ang isang brand. Bakit? Kaya nga nakalagay kanina, it is brand loyalty. Maraming kumokopya dahil, no, hindi nila matapatan yung brand na yun. Or ang nangyayari, ang tinatawag pa nga nagkakaroon ng second party, third party brand dahil hindi matapatan. Lalo dati the problem of monopoly. Ano ba ang problema ng monopoly? Dati dito sa Pilipinas, ano ang isang monopoly dito? Ang isang monopoly dito is Philippine Airlines. Bakit? Because way back then, only Philippine Airlines, ang airline company dito sa Pilipinas, sila ang nagpapatakbo. No? Now, since subsequently, what happened is, as time goes, marami nag-give rise na companies, just like Cebu Pacific, AirAsia. Now, but the trademark of Philippine Airlines there as the first one who monopolized the airline company in the Philippines dati, no? Hindi nila matapatan. So, ano ang ginawa nila? They contested it. Ano yung kinontest nila? Paano nila kinontest? They offered a lower seat cost, a lower airfare, na hindi na magagawa ni PAL dahil nag-trademark na siya na mataas siya. Di ba? That is why, minsan yung mga second party, mga third party, yung mga yung nasa competition, sila yung tinatangkilik dahil may ino-offer na iba na wala dito sa trademark na yun. But unconsciously, it is part of the study of semiotics. Bakit? Dahil kanina, if you go back to that definition, is the study of signs and symbols na kung saan maintindihan natin. Kaya nga ginawa ang isang sign, ginawa ang isang symbol, ang isang logo dahil nagko-communicate siya ng isang trademark. Okay? At kapag unang kita mo pa lang, alam mo na na maganda yung product because of the brand na nakakabit dito. Kaya nga it is so common na sinasabi na ang binabayaran mo daw ay yung brand, it is not the product. Okay? So, that's under semiotics. Next, let's have iconic. What is iconic plane? Iconic plane includes the choice of the subject, which may bear social and political implications. Few words are more overused than iconic. Often, when I hear it used, I think that what the speaker really means is recognizable, famous, or even ubiquitous. Iconic simply because it is instantly recognizable. One example of the Eastern Church, a representation of some secret personage as Christ or a saint or angel painted usually on a wood surface venerated itself as sacred. Okay. Pag sinabi kasi nating iconic or when we speak about icon, simple lang naman yan. Yan yung nagiging parang kanina sa semiotic, it is the trademark. It is almost identical with this, but this more focuses on the character nung pinoportray niya. Ano ba yung message na kino-convey niya? Like just like in other iconic planes, no? Let's take a look at this one. Kanina, sabi natin, the logos and the brands nandoon. And now, take a look at this one. Bakit nandito si Facebook? Bakit siya naging iconic? It is because, no, it comes closer to the meaning I am trying to understand. It's a corporate logo, but the image conjures up broader meanings as well. The power of social networking, the loss of privacy, the next generation of the information age. It would be hyperbole to suggest that it represents human interaction in the early 21st century, but I think it conveys more just a corporate identity. Now, you would ask me, Sir, bakit merong logo under ng icon? Tandaan ninyo nakalagay dito sa description niya. Kapag sinabi mo Facebook, 'di ba? Siya ang nagti-trigger ng social network dito ngayon sa 21st century, 'di ba? Siya yung kumbaga kahit nga siguro those people in the far flung place, meron siguro sa kanila naka-Facebook. Bakit? Kasi siya ang nag-change, siya ang naging game changer from the past of how we communicate, on how we transact, on how we relate ourselves to other people. Iyan yung dahilan na yon. Okay? Kaya siya naging iconic. And at the same time, no, kapag halimbawa na lang, sa pag sinabing Pilipinas, no, halimbawa you're a tourist, no, pag sinabi mong Pilipinas, anong automatic na pumapasok sa utak ng isang turista? Manila, maraming tao, maingay, and maraming dagat na pwedeng puntahan. Something, those things that it would describe because naging icon na siya eh, no? Naging iconic na siya. Not just a simple, design, but rather even through a word, you could imagine na. Like kapag nakita mo yung flag na yon, automatic may masasabi ka na agad, 'di ba? So, that's how iconic plane works. And let's have the last one, which is contextual plane. When we speak about contextual plane, it analyzes the artwork in a different perspective. It looks at an artwork on a cultural, social, or political context. It is often used by historians, art critics, or sociologists. So, what are the various elements of contextual plane? Una, history. Next is author. Third is influence. Fourth is reaction. Okay, one common contextual plane that I could give you, which comprises these four, is the painting of Mona Lisa. Why? Una, historically speaking, it has been there for number of years. The author, who's the author of Mona Lisa? 'Di ba? The influence. Bakit kapag sinabi mo Mona Lisa, alam mo agad yung magiging itsura niya? And the reaction. 'Di ba? Ang daming pinag-aralan yun? Bakit ganito? Bakit ganyan? 'Di ba? So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Let's go with Mona Lisa first, then we go back with the Espolarium. The Mona Lisa is a half-length portrait painting by the Italian artist known as Leonardo da Vinci. It is considered an archetypal masterpiece of the Italian Renaissance and has been described as the best known, the most visited, the most written about, the most sung about, the most parodied work of art in the world. Bakit natin sinasabi yan? Again, we have the history, we have the author, we have the reactions, di ba? Yung may apat na tayong elements. Kasi it conveys, no? Because it gives an effect now, not just only to the art, but also to the society. Bakit mo pa kailangan pag-aralan ng isang painting na yan? Painting lang naman yan. Yun nga eh. Painting lang siya na pinag-aralan. Diba? Na inaalam. Kasi, Leonardo da Vinci, in some sources, is so mysterious as a person that in his artworks, no, it gives an effect to the community, it gives an effect to the society, no? So, unang sabi pa lang is Leonardo da Vinci, and what goes to your mind? It is the Mona Lisa. Now, let's have this one. It is a Filipino pride. The Espolarium is a painting by Filipino painter Juan Luna. Luna, working on canvas, spent 8 months completing the painting, which depicts dying gladiators. The painting was submitted by Luna to the Exposición Nacional de Bellas Artes in 1884 in Madrid, where it garnered the first gold medal. No? Sabi nila, the Spolarium, this painting, no? It is a tragic painting, but it is so full of the realities that is happening in the world back then, no, during those times. So, bakit ginagawa itong mga arts na to? Simply because there is this impact. Kaya nga sila, hindi lang sila naging iconic, but rather, it affects now the context. And what is that context? The society. The present time. Ang tagal ng mga art na to, pero bakit hanggang ngayon pinag-aaralan? Bakit ngayon pinag-uusapan pa din? It is simply because it is an art. No? This is not just an iconic, but it becomes now part of the context. And when we speak about the context of the present situation. Okay? So, my dear students, there ends the discussion on reading the image. I hope you have learned something. We had discussed now how do we read the image in three various types. We have semiotic, we have iconic, and we have the contextual. So I hope you have learned something. I hope you have understood the discussion. Thank you. Keep safe and God bless everyone.